Hello everyone, welcome to my session. Today, I'm going to run this session about building an intelligent application with Blazor and Azure OpenAI service. My name is Justin from Microsoft as a senior cloud advocate. These are my social media handles, so you can visit my GitHub profile to get my many sample codes. Right, because this session is all about Blazor. Some of you have already get familiar with what the Blazor is, but the rest of you might not be familiar with Blazor. So what is Blazor? It's basically a feature of ASP.NET Web Framework. So with this Blazor, we built a web UI application. The most important thing is that it's written in C#. So Blazor, we use Blazor in C# instead of JavaScript. That sounds very interesting, doesn't it? Because we mostly use JavaScript for the front-end application development. But now we can use C# for both front-end and back-end because of this Blazor. So why should we consider Blazor for our web application development? As I just mentioned earlier, there has already been JavaScript ecosystem for the front-end application development. However, what if your organization has only .NET developers? And you are asked to build a new web application but has limited resources like time or the people to learn a new language such as JavaScript. Because of the Blazor, you are now able to do the full stack development in C#. Right? Blazor started in .NET Core 3, and we are going to release .NET 8, and we are going to use .NET 8 in this session. So Blazor has some remarkable changes in .NET 8. Until .NET 7, we have two modes, which is server mode and client mode. Client mode is also known as WebAssembly. Now, in .NET 8, we have introduced a new one, which is called streaming mode. It's similar to SSR, which stands for server-side rendering. Therefore, developers have more choices than before. Right, I have talked too much. Let's build this application. I'm going to use the Blazor server mode because it's the default option, but the basic idea is the same for the other modes as well, like client mode or streaming mode. So you can choose either options. And this is the sample code repository. You can start from here, which is aka.ms/netconf23/student-repo/Blazor, or take this QR code. This is the basic application architecture. We are building a Blazor web application to summarize a YouTube video using Azure OpenAI service. First of all, we get the subtitle from a YouTube video link, then ask Azure OpenAI service to summarize it. Okay, so are you ready? Let's do it. Now, we have the .NET Conference student zone repo. So I'm going to start from here by creating the GitHub codespace instance here, like that. So you can simply click on the plus button to create a new one, or I just created a new one. So I'm going to use this one, so which is this one, right? So we have GitHub codespace. I'm here within the codespace. Now we have the directories named 2023. Here we have WebTrack directory on the Blazor directory. So within Blazor directory, I'm going to create a new directory called live here, and move on to the live. Now, so in here, nothing. See here. Now, what we are going to do now is to create the Blazor application. But before doing so, we need to the bootstrap tidy up a few things. So let's create that net new git ignore. Oops. No. Now we have created git ignore file here. Okay. Now .NET new editor config, which is like a style cut kind of things. So it gives us a lot of the styling stuff, and also .NET new global JSON file. So what the global JSON file does is that it actually shows like this. So it says we are using .NET 8. So currently I'm using .NET 8 RC2. So it says, okay, this application will be using .NET 8 RC2, right? But once it is GA, then it will be using like a version .NET version 8.0 or something like that. Okay. Now, so we have all the things ready. Now we are going to create a solution file. .NET new solution name YouTube summarizer, and it will create YouTube summarizer. Okay, so we have YouTube summarizer, a solution file. Now I'm going to create the Blazor application project. .NET new. Before starting, let's check out the list of what we can do here. So there are bunch of the Blazor related the project here. So when you see that Blazor server and Blazor version, these are from the .NET 7 days. But from .NET 8, we are using this Blazor. This Blazor has the consolidated all server mode and client mode and the streaming mode as well. So how can we choose? So .NET new Blazor, then let's see what the other options are available. So when we choose .NET new Blazor, then we can choose like an interactivity mode, which is called server mode or WebAssembly mode or auto mode, right? So auto mode is basically what we are going to use. No, I mean what the stream rendering mode. So we are as a default, server mode is a default one. So we are going to use server mode for now. And also this one is the one. So this is the interactive. We are setting the interactive mode, right? So that can be applied to individual the pages or components, or it's a globally applied. So we are going to globally apply this interactive mode for now. So I'm going to use this command, .NET new Blazor with the application name, and server mode is interactive mode is server mode, and globally the enable the all interactive mode. Now this, then if I create this, then we have the Blazor server application here. Now I'm going to add this the Blazor application project into the solution. Now, so all done. So .NET restore .NET build. So let's add let's build this application, which is good. Now application is all built now, and let's open the Solution Explorer, and here we have the solution file. Now, so we open the solution file here, and click the debug button. Then we can see the application on how it is running as a debug mode here. So let's click the start new instance, and it will start the running on GitHub code space, and it will open a new tab with the Blazor application. See how it's going. now application is running, so which is great, right? So this is what we are expecting, right? So what we are expecting. So now we have this one. Now what we are going to do, application is basically up and running. We are going to add a new component, which is dealing with the YouTube URL, YouTube link, and summarize with OpenAI, right? So I'm going to stop it now. So where is it? Okay. So we have, when you see here, component. So at the previously by dotnet 7, the Blazor application's structure is slightly different from the dotnet 8 as well, right? So everything is under the component nowadays. Now within dotnet 8, so within the www root file, there is only CSS file. There are only CSS file and JavaScript files. Now, what we are going to see here is this one, app.razor file. So it is basically the placeholder of the entire HTML, the document. So it starts from the HTML, and it has the head sector, and it has body sector, right? And this is the one. So route, it has the random mode. It has the random mode of interactive server because we chose server mode, right? If it is chosen as WebAssembly mode, client mode, and it will be saying like interactive WebAssembly or something like that, okay? And another one is that blazor.web.js file. We used to have blazor.server.js or blazor.webassembly.js file. Now we have blazor.web.js file because everything is consolidated in one file. Okay, so this is the one, and everything is under the pages. So counter, which is the counter page, and home is the home page, and the weather is the weather page, right? So everything is there. Now we are going to use the home page here. And here, what we are going to do for now is that instead of directly putting everything in this page, we are not doing that. We are instead building a component, UI component, and putting the component here. So let's say YouTube summarizer component. So we are going to add this YouTube summarizer component, but we don't have it yet, right? So let's create another one. So under the component side, let's create a new directory called the UI, and under the UI, let's create the razor component and say YouTube summarizer component. Then it creates something like this. Okay, so we have component, and it says, okay, so we use, okay, now this. So now it is using the component, and this component coming from this one. Okay, so ready? We are ready to use component, but inside here, so this part is the HTML, which is UI part, and this part, the code block, which is using C# code here. So within the razor component, within the razor page, we can use both HTML UI part and code part as well. Now, what we can do is here, let's remove everything, and then yeah. So when it says it's okay, use GitHub Copilot chat to the ask what the GitHub Copilot helps me. Okay, so I'm going to add the prompt here. So what we are going to add here is I'm going to put the one text input and one drop-down list for the video language, and one another drop-down list for the summary language, and 2 buttons, and finally the 1 text area to show the result, summary result. Okay, so it's a Blazor component at the following input controls. So I'm just putting the prompt here to the GitHub Copilot to generate the code on my behalf. So 1 text input control for YouTube link URL, 1 drop down list for video language code selection of English or Korean, because I can speak Korean. 1 drop down list for summary language code selection of English or Korean, and 2 buttons for summary and clear. Then 1 text area for summary result. Also add the corresponding code block. So this is the prompt that I am asking the GitHub Copilot to generate some code for me. Cool. Let's take enter and wait a few seconds, and we'll see how it's going. So let's try. So it's waiting for fetching the response. Okay, well, something happened, and this is the one. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it generates the HTML tags for me, as well as the code block as well. So I'm going to accept it. Looks great. Okay. So, but the problem here is that, okay, before going there, I'm going to put the additional container for the HTML part. If class, container. Then put these all HTML bits into here. The reason why I'm doing here is that because I want to give some distinction from other component, right? Basically, this is kind of container stuff. Okay, so this is done, and the interesting thing is that it says it's the GitHub Copilot assumes that I'm going to use the service namespace, and I think it assumes that within the service has YouTube summarize service interface. Okay, so that's kind of smart enough. So I'm going to use this one. So instead of doing YouTube summarize service, too long. So I'm going to use like this, YouTube service. So the YouTube service interface, and it is I'm going to use YouTube. Okay, here, and in the code part here, so it has YouTube link, video language, summary language. Oh, that's interesting. It's already default value has already English, and summary result as well. And it says summarize, and it says clear. Okay, and YouTube. So I just change the name of the instance to YouTube, and it's going to summarize. Okay, so it only runs summarize the method, and it passes YouTube link, video language, and summary language as well. Okay, which is good. Now, the clear means that we are going to initiate the clear all the existing values already put in the controls. So YouTube link empty, and video language can be English, and summary language can be English. So even if it's changed to Korean, then if we click the clear button, then it will be returned to the default button, default value as in English. Now, which is good. Seems to be okay. Not really okay. Still have some sort of the thing. So okay. So we are changing value from the bind value to the bind, so that the red underscore is going away. So which is good. Now everything looks okay except these two things. Okay. Now I'm going to create a folder, services here. Then in here, under here, going to create class called YouTube service. Then it says YouTube service, and we are going to use the namespace services. So which is good. Now I need help from the GitHub Copilot as well to create interface. So create a new interface of YouTube service that has a method of summarise. Okay. Then it will create something for me. Okay. Looks okay. Okay. Oh, class has been destroyed. Okay, that's fine. The interface, YouTube, the service, and it here has YouTube service, and it has, where is it? Summarize method. So we have already defined the interface of summarize, but this one is different. So let's say string video link, string video language, string summary language, and this value has a default English and English like this. So we have built interface now. Let's create another the class for now. Create a new class of YouTube service that implement YouTube service. Oops. YouTube service. Then it will generate the new class for me. Okay, so it's gone. So it's gone. Interesting. It keeps some. Okay, I will copy this file, this data, and this cut, and put in here. Okay, so I think that's much better. So format document. Now, so there's no implementation yet. So throw new not implemented exception, something like this. Okay, so I'm going to create this one. So it has, so basically I created the interface using the GitHub Copilot, and I created the YouTube service using GitHub Copilot, and it actually the actual implementation has not been started yet, but basically this the Blazor component can use it, right? Can use all the logic here. Now, how can we let this component know this YouTube service instance? Because it injects a YouTube service from iOS container, but we haven't done yet, right? So how can we do this? So open the program that the CS file, and we are adding. So we are adding this the YouTube service as a dependency. So it's already there. Okay. So add the scope YouTube service. Okay, done. So by doing so, we are adding YouTube service instance as YouTube service interface. So by doing so, it actually knows everything for me. Now, I think it's done. Okay, let's build application and see how it's going. Now build should be okay. Okay, build is okay. Now run this application again. run debug and start new instance. Now, what we are going to do is that just waiting a few seconds and it will show like this, the UI that we just created. Okay, so we change the video language Korean or summary language Korean. And if I say then let's put the, the sample YouTube video of the what the Blazor in .NET 8 is about, and then just put the thing in here. Then if I click the clear button, then oops, it doesn't work. Oh, interesting. Okay. Here. Oh, okay. So there is a breakpoint here. So I'm going to put then it's gone. Okay, something like this. Okay, so everything looks okay. Now I'm going to put the breakpoint in the summarize button, summarize method button. Then here, put everything like this and click the summary button. Then see how it's going. Then if I click the summary button, it stops into this breakpoint, and obviously it will throw an error because I haven't implemented anything in here. Okay, so and it says error happens. Yeah, that's what we expected. Now, so looks good so far. Looks good so far. Now we need to put the business logic in here to get the YouTube the caption subtitles or captions and summarize it through the the Azure OpenAI service. Now, what we are going to do is that the first one is that first one is what is it? Something like this. It gives me the idea for me. Okay. But we don't need, I don't think we don't need okay, wait for this. We have no idea what it does. Okay, but before doing so, we need to add two NuGet packages. One is responsible for taking the subtitles from YouTube video, and the other one is for summarizing the subtitles into the through the Azure OpenAI service. So the first one is Azure OpenAI, the NuGet package that's responsible for the summarizing thing. And the other one is the YouTube subtitles extractor NuGet package, which is third-party one. So if we use these two things, then we can do things. Okay. So I'm going to copy this one and add. Oops. Okay, so where should I go then? Where should I go? Here. CD YouTube web summarizer. Okay. Now copy. So I'm going to add YouTube summarize, the YouTube subtitles extractor. Then, so where is it? Yeah. So if I open this one, the project file, and it will add this one, YouTube subtitles extractor, and another one is the OpenAI. Now I'm going to add OpenAI, but it is currently in preview, so I'm going to add another tag, pre-release tag, so that it adds another one. So it adds the version 1 beta 8. So we use these two the external NuGet packages to handle the YouTube video and summarization. Okay. So what we are going to do here is that it wants it wants video ID. It wants the video. Actually, it's not video. It's not. It doesn't say instead of saying video, it says get subtitle. Okay, say get subtitle and get summary. So say So let's change this part like this. And this is all of these are all about the method. So I'm going to create another method, private async task string get subtitle and string video ID and string video language. Save this. So in here, what we are going to use here, because we have already the imported two external NuGet packages, which is using the OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, and the YouTube subtitles extractor. So they are using their own implementations. So let's create a constructor taking YouTube video and OpenAI client as parameters. Okay. Then it will create a constructor for me. Okay, something like this. So it creates a constructor like this for me. Okay, let's accept it. Then it has YouTube video. It has the OpenAI client. But instead of using YouTube video, I just use iYouTube video. So iYouTube video. And it has YouTube subtitles extractor. It comes from here. And OpenAI client comes from Azure OpenAI. So we have added these two namespaces to use. Okay. So in here, it gets YouTube video and it OpenAI client. And let's change it to be more safe. Like if it's null, and it should throw an exception like this. And if it is null again, then it throws an exception again like this. Okay. So which is great. And we are going to use this one. So get subtitles. So about subtitles, something like this. But it doesn't have it. Okay, why is that? So if I click the button and then it says instead of using get subtitles async, it uses extract subtitles async. Okay, and this method takes the video URL and the language code, that video ID. Okay, interesting. So video URL and video language, something like this. So that's we are expecting to use this method. So instead of using video ID, we just simply use video URL, right? And this method, actually, we don't need a video ID method. So instead of using this video link and video language, then we are going to return subtitle. Okay, done. But it doesn't return string. So it says it returns subtitles object. So this subtitle object. So let's see what's in there. Okay. So subtitle dot says okay content. Okay. So content is basically content seems to be the collection of subtitle text, right? So we are going to choose select in here text part. We are going to choose, and this one. So we are the method of select method is the making this text value is an array, right? So it still has some sort of array method, array value, but we want to one big string. So how can we do this? And then aggregate, okay, like this. What is? Then in here, like this. Then what does that mean? So aggregate means add. So like this B part is appended to the A part, right? So by doing so, every single the captions is added append to the previous string with the line feed, right? So aggregate, as a result, aggregate value is a string. Now, bar aggregated is, so this is the extracted all the whole the subtitles. So we are returning aggregated value to the get subtitles, okay, which is great. Now we have subtitles. Now we need to send this subtitle to get summary method, okay. So let's create another one. Private async pass string get summary string subtitle string summary language. Okay. So this part is the one. This part is the one, like this one. So the GitHub Copilot summarize and suggests me to use this code, but within the OpenAI client, it doesn't have summarize async. It has get completions async. So we are going to use the get completions async method. And in here, it requires deployment ID and check completions options. Let's say deployment ID and check completion options, something like this. All right. And then it returns the summary. So we need to identify deployment ID and check completion options. So let's get the deployment ID. So it suggests, the GitHub Copilot suggests me to get this deployment ID from the environment variable. And we'll see how it's going. And check completion options. It says nothing. Okay. Do check completion options. Okay. So what it does is these check completion options comes from the SDK of Azure OpenAI. Now, what it does, what it suggests is like this. So, but we don't know because as you can see, the red, the underline here. So we don't need this part at all. We don't need this part at all. Temperatures and returns. The tokens should be like because we are summarizing the long text. So let's say the number of tokens, maximum token is 3,000. Now. So we have check completions options, and we have deployment ID. So what it does, see, deployment ID, is that it reads from the environment variable. So that gives an idea how we can add this deployment ID. So we are going to add this the deployment ID in this app.settings file, the JSON. Okay, but doing so, let's add another the thing in here. Like let's create another folder called configurations, and within the configurations, let's add class of OpenAI settings, and it OpenAI settings that add properties of deployment ID as OpenAI service endpoint and API key. Then it will add the properties for me. Okay, like this. So it has OpenAI settings, deployment ID, endpoint, and API key, like this. Okay. Which is great, and this is a little bit different. So configurations. Then we don't need this part at all. Only we need this part. So put everything in here and format document. So we have OpenAI settings class with deployment ID, endpoint, and API key. So we are going to use this the one from the app settings. Right? So we are converting the app settings data into this the strongly typed the configuration settings. And I will add another one add a new class of prompt settings that has properties of system, temperature, and max tokens. So it will create the new class for me like this. Okay, it has system and temperature value, which is float value now. So, and using max tokens here. So we are going to use these OpenAI settings and prompt settings class to convert existing app.settings file into a strongly typed one, right? And this one will be used in here. Okay, so instead of using here, so I'm going to put the OpenAI settings, and prompt settings. Wow, it has everything for me. It does everything for me. Okay, interesting. So we have constructors like this. So I'm going to create private OpenAI settings and private prompt settings. Okay, and it does OpenAI settings. Okay, prompt settings. Wow, the Copilot helps me a lot. So we have everything ready. Now let's change this part. So it comes from OpenAI setting. OpenAI settings deployment ID, right? And it comes from prompt settings max tokens. It comes from prompt settings the temperature, right? Now, so these check completion options, we need to send some sort of instruction to the as OpenAI service as a prompt, right? But it doesn't have it yet. So let's add messages that new chat message of chat role of system that prompt from settings system, right? So we are going to get the system prompt from the app settings file, and I'm going to add new chat message, another one, chat role system. Then I will add additional the system prompt like this. So I will add another system prompt like this. So this, what it does is that this is a transcript to summarize the transcript in 5 bullet point items in a given language code or language code. So in here, so I'm going to use summary language like this, right? So this is the these are 2 system prompts. Then finally, I'm going to add new chat message, chat role of user, then subtitles from here. So we set the prompt message, system prompt message in 2. Then finally, we ask to something typo. Okay. We ask the OpenAI, we pass the OpenAI service with the subtitles to summarize. Okay. So everything looks okay. And then once it's done, so summary is basically not a string. It's basically chat completions type. So summary dot value dot choices, you get the first choice, then message, then content. That's the one. Okay, the content is the string value of the summary, actually the summary result. So this is the one. So we already add the get summary. We have implemented get summary. We have implemented get subtitles, and within the summarize button, we call subtitles first. Then we call the get summary using this subtitle. okay, and as a return result. Okay, now, so we have YouTube video, OpenAI client, OpenAI settings, and prompt settings as dependencies. But we haven't added these dependencies at all yet. Okay, so let's add these dependencies. Now, so we have YouTube service, but this YouTube service instance need 4 additional dependencies. So how can we do this? Okay, now add a scope instance of YouTube video as YouTube video. Let's see. Then it as, okay, YouTube video, which is good. Then add another namespace. Okay, so which is good. Now we need to add OpenAI client. But before doing so, let's add 2 settings. Add a singleton instance of OpenAI settings generated from I configuration. Let's check this. Okay, it will add the singleton instance as a dependency using OpenAI settings the type. Okay, it adds something very scary one, but I don't need other things. Only I need this part. So I'm going to copy this line and just remove it. And here, add this. So what it does is that it adds singleton instance, but it doesn't have anything yet. So I'm going to let this the application know what the instance is about, type, what the instance type is about. So OpenAI settings. Then CP provider get service I configuration. Then we need to get the section from OpenAI settings name. But I don't think we have a name in here configuration. Where is configuration? Where is my configuration? Okay, so there is no name. So public, okay, it has already there. Okay, so GitHub Copilot helps me a lot. Okay, like this. So we are going to get this one. We'll say, where is it? Okay, so settings name, then it has configurations, then OpenAI settings. I think that's it for me. So let's build a little bit. Let's make a little bit the readable in here. So now we have added the singleton instance of OpenAI settings, right? By getting the these OpenAI settings from the I configuration. Okay. Now we are going to add another one to prompt settings. Then here, like this. Okay. So we added 2 OpenAI settings and both OpenAI settings and prompt settings. And with this value, we need to add another one, OpenAI client. Okay, so how can we add this one? We can still add another one, like add a scope instance of OpenAI client. Okay, let's see how it does. Okay, so it will add another one. Okay, but it has, okay, so I think we only need this line. Okay, we only need this line. So discard it and add it. And actually, we don't need this part as well. Okay, so OpenAI client. We are going to add OpenAI client, but it doesn't say anything like this. It doesn't, okay. So let's do a little bit a different trick here. Let's add this one. Now, so new OpenAI client, client is return client. And this new OpenAI client actually asks me to use, okay. Okay, I don't have an idea because it wants OpenAI client need API key and endpoint. Here we go. So endpoint and credential like this. But we don't have endpoint, so endpoint is new URI of OpenAI settings that endpoint, something like this. But we don't have OpenAI settings yet. So OpenAI settings equals p OpenAI settings, because we have already add a singleton instance before this OpenAI client. So I get the OpenAI settings, and with this OpenAI settings, I get the endpoint here. Okay, and then we need credentials. Then we need Azure OpenAI Azure key credential is using API key. So OpenAI client is actually requiring these URI endpoint and key credential. So we got these two things, right? So we have now we can add OpenAI client. So basically, we within the YouTube service instance, we have YouTube with iYouTube video instance. We have OpenAI settings instance. We have prompt settings instance, and we have OpenAI client settings instance. We have everything we need in here, right? These four things we have already done. So we already added all the instances. And inside OpenAI client, we also need the HTTP client. So add HTTP client as well. So everything is injected. So this is an iOS container. So all required dependencies are ready to use. Now, let's build this application. Then see how it's going. Application is being built, successfully built. Now, let's run this application. See how it's going. So it seems to be working fine and looks okay. Now, application is running. Is it running now? Oh, that's right. So everything looks okay, but the last thing I haven't added is here. There is no application settings in here yet. So OpenAI, we haven't added this one yet. Prompt. We haven't added yet. Okay. So within the prompt, system prompt we need to put here, and temperature. Then we said 7.3. No, 0.7, and maximum tokens of 3,000, like this. Okay. And OpenAI in here, deployment ID we need, and endpoint we need, and API key. Okay. So everything looks okay. Now, so I'm going to put down the system, the prompt here is that, okay, so I'm going to use this prompt of, I put some here. I have already prepared the thing. Let's see. Oops. So it says like this. So you are the expert of summarizing long content. You are going to summarize the following YouTube video transcript in a given language code. That means we are kind of setting up the expectation to the Azure OpenAI service. You are going to do this, right? And this is the first system prompt. And the second prompt is make sure that you are summarizing that transcript into 5 bullet points or something like that. Okay, so this is the one. And we are using the temperature and max tokens. And also, I have already created as an OpenAI service instance. So I have endpoint, I have API key, and I have deployment ID. So I'm going to just copy and paste here. But if you don't have it, you need to create it first. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. So everything looks okay. Now, let's run this application again. We'll see how soon, because after that, we have the values. We have all the values, required values. Okay, so let's debug and start new instance again. Then it will start, and application is up and running. Okay, so which is great. Now I'm going to copy this YouTube URL to in here and set the video language and summary language in both the English, and click the summary button here. Then it will hit the the summarize method button and just push click the button. Then it will return something. So let's wait a few seconds. Then now what we have done is that we create this UI component, and we put the we put the business logic here, and as a result we get the summarize like this. Okay, so everything works perfectly fine. So let's change a little bit. So I'm going to change the summary language into Korean. So some of you might understand Korean. So let's see how it's going. So if I click the summary button, then it should summarize this English content into Korean. So wait a few seconds. Now, once it is done, then our expectation is met. Okay, all good. So what I've done, as I said, what I've done is I created the component, which is reusable. So we can use this component for every other the Blazor one. Okay, oops, server dropped. Here. Okay. Now we need to wait a few more seconds here. Then, so we created the reusable content, reusable component, and within there we used GitHub Copilot so many times to create the UI, like buttons and text input controls or something like that. Then after that, we use okay. I'm not sure this is working fine or not. Okay. Oh, it's there. It takes more time. So it returns the Korean thing. Okay. So which is great. So that's what we expected, right? So let's summary again. So we built the reusable component, and within the Razor component, we used GitHub Copilot a lot to set up all the UI bits and pieces, and including the text inputs and drop-down list and text areas whatsoever. And we used the GitHub Copilot chat again a lot of times to set up the classes and interfaces and all the dependencies, right? And implementing the business logics as well, something like this. So as a result, we can build this kind of intelligent app using Blazor and Azure OpenAI service. Okay, so this is the end of my demo. This is a quick sum up. We scaffolded a Blazor web application. Then we created a reusable Blazor component. Then we created a few classes and interfaces for dependency injection. And finally, we implemented business logic in there. As you saw, while we were building this application, we used GitHub Copilot a lot, quite a lot. And it reduces the huge amount of time for writing code. So you can do it by yourself. So how can you do it by yourself? I'm not the only one running these sessions today, because there are many other sessions available as well as sample code. So this is the sample code repository. So this is the sample code repository. And this is the free C# fundamental certification. So you can visit there and you can get the free certification for C#. And there are many .NET beginner video series here. So you can visit there and you will be able to learn a lot of .NET beginner series. And most importantly, we have .NET Conference. This is the student zone for .NET Conference, and as well as the main .NET Conference is happening. But most importantly, I'd like you to try .NET 8 on your machine. So you can download .NET 8 from this URL, aka.ms/get.NET8. Right, this is it. Thanks for watching. I'm Justin.